Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick update on my experience with the Galaxy Z Fold 2. Now, today isn't about giving you a full review, it's just an update on a near-death experience for the Z Fold 2 that I went through. And not literally, but it was scary enough. Essentially, I've been working with, at first, the leather case, and then now the Aramid kickstand case, and they're both nice, but of course, neither of these are worth their price point. You're looking at 80 and I think 60. I paid almost 70 from Mobile Fun in the UK for the Aramid just because it was not available here in the States. But the reality is that they are literally both better than nothing solutions. And the only full body protection that is coming is still a long ways away. So what happened? Two incidents, all right? Number one, I was at the dog park, had a call come in, ironically, from the vet, took this out, of course, was using it in the closed, clamshell candy bar mode that it's in right now. Dog ran by, kicked up some gravel, and with my luck, it hit the display. Now, the good news is it did not damage the display, but you can imagine I nearly shat my pants. I mean, the one time I get a call at the dog park since I've owned this phone, and somehow this little speedster ran by and just kicked up just enough dirt, and for it to actually make contact with the display, I nearly had a conniption fit. But again, luckily didn't have to. I wasn't going to have a public one, but internally, we all hopefully can separate the two. I hope for all of you out there that you're able to. I just freaked out, but then I looked over the display, didn't see anything. Now, I do still have the original screen protector on here that Samsung installed themselves. Soon I will be putting on, once it arrives, the Whitestone dome glass screen protection for the exterior, but that's part of the good news on the durability side. The second mishap, I've talked about a lot, or rather, I've been talking about the pocketability of this phone, that it's superior to the Note 20 Ultra, of course, Microsoft's Surface Duo, I almost said don't. And unfortunately, I had my first issue. Now, I'm going to call out the brand, J.Crew, which I know they filed for bankruptcy during the pandemic already, so there's not a whole lot to talk about them. But I'm sure many of you have some of their clothing in one way or another. And these pants, essentially the pockets are deep enough, but I guess it's just the way the pocket is cut. And the phone doesn't stick out, but getting in and out of my car, I've never had an issue, but yesterday, getting into the car, it dropped out into the well in between the door and the seat. And that was another near, shit your pants moment, because I know that even if this is protected, the cameras really aren't. The spine, more importantly, which is arguably the most important part of the phone other than the actual displays, not protected. And of course, this display totally open and out, naked, if you will, and this entire portion. So while I've been comfortable using these half-style cases, those two incidents, granted, the screen protector will make sure that that little dog that kicked up the rocks into the phone, literally kicked rocks, expression, that won't be an issue. But when it comes to the rest of the body protection, I am unfortunately now considering, I think it's VRS Designs, makes full body protection. I didn't want to go there because I didn't want to make this thing any thicker than it already is, but I'm starting to think that's not really up to me. Now, luckily, when this fell into the well, no substantial damage happened. There might have been a little bit of a scuff. The fact that everything is like a metallic finish doesn't help. I haven't noticed anything. You might see something here in the video, but I saw a little scuff. I did a little rub, and it seemed to be good to go. So I didn't, I did nearly crap the pants, but luckily I always wear diapers. So that wasn't an issue. And by the way, that was a joke. So all's well, but both moments were very stressful. And those were the first times I got stressed out using this. The first Gen Fold, I was so scared to take out into the wild. And I explained to many of you that once I started using the Z Flip that I have right here, this does have a Spigen case that covers everything except for the spine, again, for the hinge. Those fears of having a folding phone went away. But one thing that I was always cognizant of with the Z Flip was, again, the hinge, because anytime that I did bang into something, this was what I always went to check first. And this has gotten, I mean, not really chipped. There's nothing remarkable there, but I've had some moments, where, I thought it was going to be damaged, and luckily it wasn't. So it was fairly resilient. And the same applies here so far with the Z Fold 2. So 2 scary moments that I don't wish on anyone, but thankfully both were essentially non-issues, even though they did cause mental distress. But that's part of having a $2,000 phone in your pocket. I mean, even if you have a $1,000 phone, it doesn't need to be a $2,000 phone, right? $1,000 is already too expensive as far as I'm concerned. But thankfully, nothing happened. But I just wanted to report that because I had essentially gotten so accustomed to carrying this around that I was treating it like it was a non-event, like it was any other phone. And then for the first time, it did slip out of the pocket. Now, I do wonder if it's because the aramid is a little bit more slippery than the leather texture case, the backside case, and if that contributed to the fall out of the pocket. The dog kicking rocks, that was just incredibly bad luck, which I tend to have, which if that wasn't evident already, now you know. But with the slipperiness, that I might, give to this case, the aramid one, because the aramid one is really smooth. Not that the leather is very tacky, but it's leather. There's a difference between aramid and leather when it comes to the tactile feel. At any rate, as I've said over and over again, thankfully unharmed outside of some fingerprint smudges that I've made here, the phone looking dirty. So just an update on my experience, and also confirmation for those of you that are wondering whether or not the Z Fold 2 or the Z Flip are rugged phones. I mean, they're not meant to take a beating, but usual, regular wear and tear, they are designed for. And that's exactly what both of those instances were good examples of. And I am still shocked, by the way, that the rock that hit the screen didn't break it. I mean, even if it was a pebble, the velocity, all of those things, I know this is Victus glass, but it still could have done something. Thankfully, it didn't. I'm not going to chalk that up to the plastic screen protector. I'm going to say it's a result of the Gorilla Glass that Samsung employs on the front of the device. But either way, just wanted to give an update. I dodged a few bullets. Now I'm going to be looking into, unfortunately, a little bit more protection. And that's the other reason I'm sharing this with all of you, is I figure it's probably noteworthy that you also take those steps, because I'm incredibly careful. The dog incident, no way to prevent that. The falling out of the pocket, I could burn the pants, I suppose, but I know that it's not the pants. That slip out only happened once I switched over to the aramid finish. Go figure. And by the way, anyone who's curious about the aramid, I like the fact that, when it's sitting, at least on its own, it's elevated, so the camera array, because of the kickstand, is lifted off of the surface. But still, the problem of when this thing is open, having it always bobble, that's another thing that can just make you nuts. I really don't know why Samsung didn't think about this, but that was obvious with the leather case. So, here we are with a similar problem. But I do still prefer this, because having the kickstand is a game changer for a phone that is truly a 7.5-inch tablet on the inside. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.